Hello everyone, this is LW Gaming and welcome to a brand new installment of Future Langrisser. And today is June 16th, 2025. And by time recording, today is the 12th of June. I'm recording this in advance so that way I don't actually miss the deadline. So anyways, this update is going to bring the well-anticipated collab of all times, which we were expecting this arrive around 2 or 3 months ago, but unfortunately, during that time, we weren't able to know who they were until now. And this update is going to be featuring 3 new heroes from fairy tale anime or manga, depending on where you came from. But anyways, these characters are arriving to Langrisser in the near future. First, will be arriving in CN in about probably very soon from now, and then for global version, it'll be November around that time, like around late August, late October. I mean, which is to be exact date, I think it'll be October 30th, but it's around that time. So yeah, getting near the Halloween or whatever. Or actually, wait, maybe it's on the yeah, it was on the 30th. There's like one day before Halloween. So, anyways, let's get right into it, shall we? The first hero we're gonna talk about is Lucy. She's going to be a summon hero, so that means you're going to need to summon her on the banner that's corresponding with the collab. So Lucy is going to be part of Protagonist, Princess Alliance, and Heroes of Time. And the class she's part of is Mage, which makes sense because she uses magic or whatever in the anime series. And her role is magical DPS, which comes with like fair amount of AoE skills like Arcane Blast, as well as Earthquake. Yep, finally another character that can take advantage of Earthquake. And also Lucy will have like a summon which will behave like Lucretia or Sapphirine in that case. And also Lucy will inflict star or moon mark on enemies, and these ones do impact what she would do with them. So if they are inflicted with star, the unit can be targeted by Lucy or her celestial spirits skills from within 6 blocks, and ranged soldiers will also attack along with it. So, yep, this mark is actually pretty terrifying. If you're especially if you're trying to keep your distance from Lucy, of course. Like, if you have Star on there, good luck dodging everything because that is gonna cause a lot of problems for you. Because Lucy's gonna shoot you from far away. Like, I'm not even kidding. And then the other mark is Moon, which basically it's kind of similar to Star, but it's actually different. So, anyways, the Moon is that when damaged by an active attack from Lucy or her Celestial Spirit, all allies within one ring around the target take fixed damage equal to 1 times of her int. So yeah, that fixed damage is actually pretty nuts. Depending on how much int that she has. If she has like about like 1k, you're gonna take like I think a good chunk of it off, but not too much. And you might notice that I kept saying celestial spirits. You might be thinking, who are they? Well, the thing is, like, these are the 3 characters that will be accompanied with Lucy, which are Aquarius, which I believe is the mermaid. I think the blue hair mermaid. I forgot what she looked like, but I'm pretty sure that's one of that. And apparently, Happy called her a fish in one of the episodes, if I remembered. Yeah, not gonna lie, that is pretty funny. And apparently, Aquarius doesn't really like how Happy comment her as a fish, which is kind of funny. And also, even though Lucy does summon those spirits, she herself can also transform into those forms as well. But however, when doing this way, she won't be able to summon Aquarius, which unfortunately, but it is Lord accurate. If you're wondering what that was. Anyway, she can be between like Aquarius form, Leo form, or Aries, as you can see there. Now, what do I think about this character? Is she worth grabbing? I would say, of course, she's fun to use, but of course, do I think she's gonna be like PvP viable or actually pretty broken in some ways? Honestly, I don't really think so, but she can do something in PvP, but it's not in the extent of the level of Dragon Slayer. No, that one is next level of crazy. She's not like that, thankfully. Let's just say she's kind of in the league of Sapphirine. What I mean, like usefulness, like it's like okay, but not too strong. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the next character, which is Urza, which is which is one of those like characters, another character that's coming to the game as well, as part of the Fairy Tail collab. And the factions she's part of are Legion of Glory, Princess Alliance, and Heroes of Time. With the faction choices, Legion of Glory makes sense on her because she does actually fight with justice or righteous, whatever you think of it. And the class she's part of is infantry, which makes sense because she carries a sword. And she is a knight, of course, but she considers herself as a wizard even though she is a knight in general. And unfortunately for those characters, normally I would show them their voice clips, but when I got the information from the CN WeChat, unfortunately the voice clips were not there, so I was not able to obtain those voices this time. So sorry about that. So yeah, I hope you understand because not everything will be available every time. I kind of wish that this turned out differently, but unfortunately it is what it is. Anyways, just like Lucy, she is a summonable unit as well. So that means you're gonna have to summon for Urza if you need her. I mean, if you want her, I mean, for collection purposes. And even though she is just a collect character, don't sleep on this because Urza does actually, in fact, cause a lot of let's just say something you need to watch out for. So Urza can transform into armor form or Crimson Soccer form if you use her 3C. And also, if she is already in her armor form, and then you activate her 3C, she's gonna dismiss that armor form and then get herself Crimson Soccer form, which allow her to be which allow her to be really flexible. And also in her 3C active skill, if there are more enemies than your allies, the enemy she is attacking cannot trigger revive. That's the one thing you need to watch out for. Like, even though if the enemy able to tone down your team a lot, like making them less than their team, Urza is just gonna don't care. I'm gonna disable your revive, something like that. So yeah, she's actually pretty dangerous if you're not careful on PvP. So do I think she's going to be broken in some cases? Yes, in some cases. But however, if you're in the fair game of both sides has the same amount of units, I don't think she'll be able to do much there. But if you're able to be at in a level where your team is kind of struggling, Ursa might actually do something. But other than that, she's just a basic unit that does damage, of course, but nothing else. And finally, we got Natsu. Natsu is the main guy in the fairy tale. Well, actually, maybe Lucy might also be one as well, but they're both given as a protagonist faction, which I guess that makes sense for Natsu, but I don't know why they gave it to Lucy, but I guess she's also part of the lead character, but I don't know. Anyways, Natsu is part of protagonist, like I said earlier. He's also part of Gillette's Legends, as well as Heroes of Time. And also, Natsu is not the only one accompanied as his own character. He's also accompanied by Happy himself, which is pretty awesome because it's a little bit of a reference there. So Natsu, even though he is technically alone, but it's just that Happy is with him. So I'm guessing you can call him as Natsu and Happy, but I think Natsu is actually makes more sense for him. And the class he's part of is Dragon, which initially there's a bit of a confusion when I'm trying to gather information from WeChat. Some people said it is Dragon, which originally it is correct, but there's a conflicting report saying that he's infantry for some reason, and that is the result of me re-uploading repeatedly. And I was like, oh my goodness, how many times do I have to re-upload this video? Seriously, this is getting really frustrating. But anyways, we got the finalized info here. So this is a dragon class. So even though we already explained the two heroes already, like Lucy and Erza being summonable units or banner units, this guy is gonna be free. So that means you can get Natsu, the main guy, for free, as long as you participate in the event. And he is actually worth grabbing because unlike most of the freebies we have so far, most of these are so underwhelming. But in his case is absolutely the opposite because he's basically a free Yusuke and Rin player. I mean, not player, like a character. I mean, so his role is of course physical DPS, and he is the Dragon Slayer. Well, technically not Dragon Slayer, the one I'm talking about, which is the Vargas, like the LR Vargas, that crazy boat dude. Not like that. What I meant is that Natsu does but bonus damage against dragons. It's kind of like Isolde's case. And also, like I said earlier, he can transform into end mode. It might not be called like that, but anyways, this is one of those modes, which will basically make him turn into a demon. And also, damage dealt is increased by 20%, and can act again after attacking while having 5 stacks of his talents. And it will be lasting for 3 turns. And then afterwards, he will become weaker temporarily, which is a debuff that he'll be getting after exiting. And this will stay on him for 1 turn, and which is a mobility -2, which means that he won't be moving as far. And it is a similar aspect to Yusuke and Rin. However, for this case, like even though like here's the thing here. So if your ally dies at any point in battle, Natsu's gonna extend his form by 1 additional turn. But however, he does not stay in this form forever, like Rin, unfortunately, because all it does is just increase its duration and that's it. There's no point. There's no like a option to like make him like permanent on this form. It just doesn't. It's just not possible. And then while in his domain, which is creative on his 3C, he takes 20% less damage and he gains attack range +1. So yeah, if you ever see Natsu in his domain, watch out. Okay, moving on. Let's take a look at what's going to be added in the update, which will be including SP soldiers. We got royal protectors, sorceress, and zealots. And these characters are actually, I mean, not characters. These soldiers addition for SP is actually pretty nuts, though. But pretty interesting because like royal protector, well deserved, and that troop is going to receive additional units. Sorceress, unfortunately, will not add additional units. And for Zealots, yes, there will be new units that you can use with in the future, of course. Now let's move on to the next part, which of course casting. I didn't matter if you already saw it, but anyways, we got 2 new castings this time around. We got Lugner in +5% after ending action, doubles the sin effect on a random enemy. So yeah, this might sound confusing, but it's actually straightforward. So basically, instead of applying 2 on the random enemy, you'll apply 4 of those sin stacks, which is absolutely nuts. So yeah, this is a huge jump for Lugner. Do I think he's gonna be viable? Well, it really depends on what player you are. Like, you want to like punish the enemy like being like a rush player or whatever. That could work, but overall, I don't think he's gonna be much. But it is a nice improvement for him. And next up we got is Lemia, which honestly I was a bit surprised that Lemia got her casting here rather than later. I mean, she is kind of falling off at some point, but it's actually well deserved here as well. So, anyways, let's see what hers does. So she's basically have her attack increased by 5%, while under the allied mysterious ocean current effect, terrain is treated as water, and Lemia deals 15% increased damage. So that the last part right there actually makes it somewhat different for her because now she would be hitting a lot harder than she normally would. Do I think these two are going to be viable for PvP? Well, Lemia for sure, but Lugner is a bit questionable. So anyways, let's move on to the next part of the video, which is the new exclusive equipment. This time, this belongs to Eshin, which is the headwear. This one increases her HP by 10%. The Unified Defense skill range increased by 1 tile, and gains additional effects when you activate her Unified Defense skills. When you chose Revitalization, this will now dispel 1 debuff from the target. If you chose Decree, grants the target immunity to active skill Silence for 2 turns, which is nuts. And then Dash, which is Act Again, grants the target damage dealt increased by 15% for 1 turn, which is good. So that means you're gonna have like a permanent like damage dealt increase, but however it will just be there for 1 time though. Just keep that in mind. Okay, and then let's move on to the actually before we end off this video, let's talk about what are the other stuff that are coming to the update. So for the events, of course, expect Fairy Tail collab event where you can get Natsu for free. And then for the banners, we got radar banners for Amadeus and the Solde, Ashin, and Tyrantel. Legion of Glory Destiny banner for Zion, Nonoran, and Lemia. Meteor Strike Destiny banner for Theon, Elise, and Lostum. And the classic recurring banner for Rachel, Lana, and Tiaris. So, anyways, hope you all find this very helpful or informative, and thank you all for watching. And don't forget to subscribe and have a good day, everyone. See you all next time.